Fuck my life, Alex whispered down at the 6-inch black stilettos that would be torturing his feet and calves for the next 2 weeks. The thought of having to wear them for so long was enough to make Alex want to quit his job, but he gritted his teeth and pulled them out of the closet anyway, ever the obedient dog. Mr. Dacey would surely give him a good thrashing if he refused to wear them. With one last pouty look, Alex picked up a shoe and plopped down on his bed, crossing one leg over the other to start working the thing onto his foot. Not surprisingly, it was horribly uncomfortable, despite being his size. The unforgiving leather hugged his broad foot, and his toes were cramped inside thanks to the narrowing point at the end. For a brief moment, Alex thought about taking it off and chucking it into the garbage, but then he remembered what happened when he did that to his collar. Alex's eyes flitted to the leather thing on his bedside table, its 3 bondage rings looking up at him expectantly. With a soft sigh, Alex reached over to grab and fasten it around his neck. At least the collar wasn't uncomfortable. He could only hope that he'd get used to the shoes as quickly as he had the collar. When both stilettos were securely on his feet, Alex prepared to stand up. That alone was a chore. His legs were incredibly wobbly, like a baby colt straight out of the womb. Alex's first few steps were horribly clumsy, and he had to catch himself from falling even before he made it out the door. Walking was going to be a problem, Alex realized as he took careful, calculated steps all the way to Mr. Dacey's office. By the time he got there, his calves were already burning from the awkward position of his feet in heels. How women walked around in these things all the time, Alex would never know. He was already dreaming of the day his 2-week torture would be over, and he could be rid of them.
"As graceful as a swan,"
Mr. Dacey teased Alex as he rounded the corner. The only swan Alex could imagine he looked like was one with 2 broken legs. It took everything in him not to voice his discomfort. Knowing it was best to keep quiet, Alex opted to smile sarcastically instead, hoping it wouldn't merit him a punishment. "You wanted to see me, Master?"
"Yes, your gift."
Mr. Dacey's eyes lit up as if he had forgotten all about it, making Alex instantly regret coming by his office in the first place. Perhaps if he stayed away, he could have avoided what was coming next. Mr. Dacey opened up his desk drawer and pulled out a device that Alex had never seen before. It was black and plastic with a fat nub that protruded and curved up. There was a ring at the base of the nub that connected to a U-shaped piece of plastic. One end was thinner and stuck out straight, while the other curved outward and was dotted with bumps that reminded Alex of the suckers on an octopus tentacle. It wasn't until Mr. Dacey began squirting lube on the end of the larger part that Alex realized it was meant to go inside of him.
"Come here and lean over my desk."
Mr. Dacey gestured towards the side opposite his open drawer. "What is it?" Alex asked as he assumed the position, legs slightly spread, looking down at the toy as Mr. Dacey slid his chair back so he had better access to Alex's entryway.
"It's a prostate stimulator. The big part will massage against your prostate, while the shorter part will stimulate your perineum."
Alex didn't even know what a perineum was, but it sure sounded good. Mr. Dacey pressed the black tip against Alex's hole and slipped it inside. The feeling of the thick plastic rubbing over his prostate sent shivers of pleasure through his body. Alex moaned in abandonment as Mr. Dacey pushed the prostate stimulator in the rest of the way, adjusting it so it fit nice and snug. "God, that feels amazing," Alex admitted, his eyes flitting down to his now erect cock that towered over Mr. Dacey's paperwork threateningly.
"I'm glad you like it, because you're going to be wearing it all day."
A sly grin spread across Mr. Dacey's face as he reached into his desk drawer for something else. "I like it very much," Alex breathed before he heard the chime of bells. Knowing that Alex wouldn't like this next gift near as much, Mr. Dacey quickly fastened the chain of bells to the handle of the prostate stimulator. Alex's initial reaction was to hate it, but the toy inside of him felt so good he couldn't be bothered to complain. Every move of his hips made the bulb rub against Alex's sweet spot and sent tremors of pleasure through his body.
"I won't be able to give you a lesson tonight since I'll be going out, so I thought this might do just as well. Try to keep your hands away from your cock today, will you?"